Welcome back. In this video we are going to continue our BlackSheep journey, and I would like to show you how you can pass route parameters and how you can use query strings. So let's jump right into it. We have this code from the previous video. I will not touch it, just close and create a new child node, and let's call this parms.py. Alright, let's stop the other application from running. By the way, I'm in my virtual environment. We are going to use UVcorn. So let's create a new application and demonstrate the parameters. So how do we do this? We have to import from BlackSheep the application, and we will only need the get function for now, and we will decorate the function with the index or default context route, and we return, or we want to return, your message. And let's call the variable message. In order to receive it as a value, what we have to do is to create in the decorator the corresponding variable, so message. And this also has to be passed to the function as well, and that way we will have this value processed by the context route. Let's take it for a test drive. UVcorn parms app -- port 8000 and -- reload. Oh, app not found because I didn't create my application. Alright, let's try it once again, and now it started. So let's go to the third terminal and we import the requests, and we use the request get against the URL, which is http 127.0.0.1 on the port 8000. And here comes our message. So my name is Daniel, and when I hit enter and check the text attribute from the response, you can see that this value was passed to the context route, and the function was able to process it. Let's do something else. So type of message is going to be type message, and when we save it and the application has reloaded, you can see that this is a string which was passed. And what I'm getting to is the concept of type annotations. So by default, this framework is going to treat every variable that you push through a context route as a string. But when you try and create a type annotation for this variable, so let's say that this is going to be a string, the following happens. In this case, you can see that this was a string. In this case, this was also a string when I passed 8. But that happened because it was able to convert it. And basically, string types can be created from any other basic data type. But if I specify a new context route and say that this will be only numbers with my number, create the only numbers and say that the number is of int type. Then I could do this in the response. So this is a number, and let's just pass the number and save it. Alright, so it is missing column. Let's save it. Now it was able to start, and if I hit the only number context route with the value 8, you can see that this is number, this is number. Okay, so let's get back to it. So now it starts to work. I had a typo in the variable name. And if I write anything else which cannot be converted to an integer, like, I don't know, 8, you can see that I have basically a response stating that it's not a valid integer. The other interesting thing is that when I say I push a float value, this is going to also say that it cannot be converted to an integer. So you will not lose values. It will give you an error when that cannot happen without data loss. And I think it's a pretty neat concept. And yeah, the other thing is the query string. So in order to use a query string, we have to do the following. Let's create a request import, and let's create another context route and call this query string. And now I can create my query string function, and we will pass a request of request type as a value. And for now, what we would like to do is to return an f string, which is going to contain the dir function called on the values which are passed through this context route. And if everything goes well, we should see the following query string. This is the request object that we can work with, and we can get the query strings from the query parameter. And it works a bit trickier than at first you might think. So let's print out the request.query. Now, if I formulate a query string, so let's say name is Daniel and age is 33, you can see that the query string is stored as a dictionary, and the keys are basically the keys of the query string, and the values are put in a list. So due to this, you can say that you have multiple keys in your query string with the same name. For example, we have another name which is called Gabriella. And now the values are put in the list. So from now on, what we can do is the following. We could say that we iterate over the keys, get the values of the keys, and concatenate those values. So for example, for key in request.query and for value in request.query, key And now these are the things that we want to use, so to speak. And if I want, I could make this like how should we do it? Which would be the more elegant? Let's create a response string, and we want to put these into the response string. So response string dot append request dot query and key. This is one thing that I want to append, and then I also want to how should we do this? Oh, hold on. Let's do it the following way. Let's join key, join by the key, the request dot query key, and append it to the response string. And in the end, what we have to do is to use the query string. And why did it go so deep inside that line? And I want to join by comma the response string. Let's save it. What's the problem? It says it was never closed because it was never closed. All right. So now if I go ahead and hit the context route once again, you can see that the Daniel, name, Gabriella, and 33 is the output. But it should be age 33, so it needs to have Let's formulate it a little bit differently. So let's say this is the first part, and we say question mark key equals, and this way. Now if I hit it once again, you can see that the query string is name Daniel and name Gabriella. This should be an and sign. And go ahead and concatenate these. So question mark name Daniel and name Gabriella. Oh, this is coming together. So this is the one. And let's save it. So question mark name equals Daniel and name equals Gabriella. And they should be joined by the and sign in the end. And age is 33. So now we got back our query string, although it's not in the same order, but this is how we can use the query string or the request parameters. And in this video, technically, that was all I wanted to show you. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.